My goal is to make $150,000 a year, multiple days out till midnight, past midnight. I've been booking myself 3 to 4 jobs a day. I do it for probably a tenth of the cost. So my name is Matthew Barney. My business name is Matt's Mobile Mechanics. And I got started just after work, kind of just helping people fix their cars, make a little extra money. And then, it's a little bit hand in hand with me as far as helping people and making money. My goal is number one to help people, but I can't help people if I don't make money at the same time. It's what I love to do, both helping people and making money, so.
How long have you been doing mechanical work and stuff like that?
So I got started about 7 years ago. I went to school, learned the basics, and then I got a job right out of school. Worked my way up, started as an oil change technician, then I switched to a tire technician. I didn't stay in either role for longer than about 3 or 6 months. I was eager and hungry to learn more and more. Finally got my way up to a used car technician, which is a solid position to be in. You get to work on pretty much everything, all makes and models, all sorts of repairs. So I did that for 2 or 3 years. Then I went up to a bigger dealership, working just mainly on what they had. Ford's was what it was, and just kind of got sick of doing the same thing over and over. So then I started working for myself.
And what made you do mobile mechanic instead of getting like a shop?
Yeah, so getting a shop is, for one, it's gonna be a lot more to it, a lot more cost up front. So that's where mobile definitely has an advantage. But even more so, as my success grows and my funds grow, I can maybe get a shop, but I'm pursuing 100% mobilely for the convenience of the customer. I truly see it as a better way of servicing your vehicle. So far, there's nothing that has ever gone wrong. There's been little problems here and there, but I've always been able to resolve them. And it's definitely been quicker than it would have been and cheaper than had they gone to a shop.
Can you talk about any of the investments that you had to make to start the mobile business?
Yeah, so number one is my truck. I'd love to drive my Lexus or a Mustang or something, but I gotta have a truck. Man, I do love it. It's got the 3.5 twin turbo in it, so it's plenty of power. I bought it with close to 200,000 miles on it, so it's an old truck, but it runs really well. So I built it out. I put my bed box in there. I put a toolbox here in the back, a full toolbox. And then I got a cargo bed here, which allows me to get stuff that's deep back under my bed box and deep in there. One of the things that I'm going to add here is a full generator with a welder. So that's quite the cost there. And then besides that, just the time, lots and lots of time. I've spent multiple days out till midnight, past midnight, working on things that went wrong, that I never leave a customer empty-handed or left in the dust, I always make sure they can get to work or where they need to be. So the time is number one. And then just a lot of paperwork, paying for business cards, paying for the certifications, paying the state the money they want, paying for my website, lots and lots of tools. That's about it.
Can you say what your most expensive tool is out here right now?
My most expensive tool, I don't buy anything Snap-on or anything expensive. I rock all Milwaukee stuff, which is top quality for the cheapest price. My jack here is my newest purchase. It's aluminum for my back, so lifting it in and out. It was $200. And then I have a bigger impact that I use for just bolts that don't want to come off. I'll show you that one. This would definitely be my biggest investment, and that's why it's locked up within my locked car. And that's just a big old impact here, about $300, probably $400. But I got, a whole boatload of them. So this is at least $1,000 drawer right here. So I got a torch too. That was $350. A mini torch, which is a must to have for doing what I do, because some things you need to get them hot and glowing, or you just need to cut it off completely. And then my final investment, which would probably be the biggest, is gonna be the generator with the welder. That'll be $500 plus for the generator, close to $1,000. And the welder was about $500-ish, $400. So yeah. And thanks for making me remember all the money I spent on everything.
So can you tell us how you're getting your customers? How do you do your advertising? What does that look like?
So Quick shout out to Grand Rapids Informed on Facebook. I would say my #1 reason for success is I posted on every single person who's had a question about cars or needed help. I've posted myself in there quite a lot. It's got just thousands of followers throughout Grand Rapids and the west side of Grand Rapids. So there's a Creston neighborhood too, and West Siders, Grand Rapids, but it's all Facebook groups on Facebook. And I'll go in there and I'll comment. And then, so all the customers in there, all the people that I meet, they refer me to their friends, their family. They refer me back on Facebook. I tell everyone to leave me a review. So far, I have the most reviews on Facebook for mechanics. I just made a Google page, and I'm getting a boatload of customers from Google already. I think I have 20 reviews on Google, and then yeah, I made my website too. So mainly word of mouth and Facebook.
Are you putting out any social media content?
Yeah, so I have a Max Mobile Mechanics Facebook page. I put out stuff every day. I try to stay up with the trends, beat the algorithms. I started making reels kind of just as a thing for myself that I would think would be cool as far as doing the repairs. And the first one was like so hard because you only get 90 seconds and it takes me about an hour or two to do each repair. So it took me a long time to figure out how to do them. But once I got them down, I thought that they were pretty neat and they actually showed people what to do. Sometimes when I have to go and do a similar car, I'm able to look back at the video I made and see which tools I need, and then I can just get those tools without having to bring all of them. So yep, definitely a lot of social media.
And what are some of the expenses that come along with your business?
So the expenses, gas, insurance is something I just had to get, business insurance. Gas for my torch is one, batteries for the tools. I gotta buy more and more batteries. You know, besides that, it's pretty low cost. Parts are a big one, and I have a partnering account with another commercial guy that I'm able to get discounted parts at. So really, that's about it. Besides, I'm gonna hire a secretary here soon, and then she'll, you know, be taking out her cut, and then taxes.
Can you talk about some of the projects that you've worked on, or like what services do you offer?
Oh, so I offer everything. So one time this customer, I was doing his spark plugs and I should have test drove the car beforehand, but I didn't. Long story, whatever happened. But he ended up needing an engine. So I ended up doing the whole entire engine for him. I went and grabbed one from the junkyard. I've never done an engine before. So it was something crazy that I was willing to do for him because he was in a tight spot. And I went and grabbed the engine from the junkyard. I towed his car back to my house, into my garage, pulled his engine, pulled the engine out the junkyard, put the engine in his car. So 3 engines all in all, pretty much. And it ended up well, and I was really happy.
So can you tell us what project you're working on here?
So we're doing outer tie rods on a Land Rover.
Are they old or?
Well, they're loose. So originally I did the brakes on this, and when I did the brakes, I saw that they were loose. And then after my test drive, I noticed that the vehicle is shaking also. So I advised that he get them done sooner than later, and now we're back.
And how long does a project like this usually take?
Well, an outer tie rod should take 0.3 hours is what it pays on the book, which is, you know, about 20 minutes. Because you're really just taking off one bolt and you're loosening one nut besides the lug nuts here. But afterwards, you're gonna need an alignment, which is the bigger issue. So then an alignment is gonna take about an hour. So call it 2 hours. And the end of the day, especially if you're at a shop.
Are you doing an alignment on this one?
So doing things mobily, I can't do alignments. You need a big machine to do them. But I partner with a guy who does them after work. And that way my customers get a better deal. Otherwise, I just send them up to the local shop.
Can we ask how much this might cost to get done?
So the tie rods are only about 35 bucks usually. And then labor, I usually charge 50 bucks a side. But yeah, doing this mobily, things have been taking off and I don't have the time to answer phones, order parts, and direct traffic as far as all the jobs, scheduling and everything like that. So I'm raising prices here soon as I try to recruit a secretary. And then also as I recruit more guys so I can be more readily available for, like I got a job later today, lady I worked with in the past, her battery just died and she needs to get to work and she doesn't know why. And I'm busy today, but I'm gonna make time because she's a customer of mine. But I also might try to get a buddy of mine to go out and do it because I got other things going on. But we're fully licensed. I'm licensed with the state. I just got my insurance. So we're doing things properly here. Everything gets wrote up and invoiced, keep track of things, and I try to get back with my customers, make sure everything's going well a week or two afterwards.
How do you get your license? How does that work?
In order to get a repair facility license, you have to be a master mechanic. And in order to be a master mechanic, you just have to go down to Secretary of State and pass 7 or 8 state tests. And it took me about 4 or 5 years to finally pass them all. But I started out going to GRCC, the MTech Center, and that's where I got certified in brakes, electrical, steering, and suspension. Then I kept taking classes, but I also got a job at Fox Ford where I was just able to learn I worked there for a couple years and also at Lincoln, and I was just able to learn everything I needed there. So then I just went back and took the rest of the tests on my own and eventually passed them all. They're not hard. I say if you go down there and take them 3 times, because they're $7 a time you take them. You can only take them once a day, but you can take them as many times as you want. Take them about 3 times. And most of the information is from the 80s or 90s, which is not current for anything that we work on now. You can be certified this and that and still not really know much, if you're not working with cars every day. The guy who's not certified but he works on cars every day is gonna know more than the guy who is certified. But luckily I do both.
I see you keep hitting this. What are you trying to do with it?
Well, this nut gets stuck in there for whatever reason, and when you hit it in the middle it kind of forces it out. Yep, this is trick of the trade that you learn with just experience. I had a really hard time with the brakes on this one. Customer complained that they had no brake pedal. I did the brakes and then only the front brakes would work. So it ended up being a problem with the master cylinder. I did the master cylinder and then I found a brake line leak. I had to replace the whole rear brake lines. Then I was finally able to get it running right, so.
How far are you traveling for some of your jobs?
So the farthest I've traveled, I went up to Cadillac. A customer I worked with before, he was stuck on the highway with a bad wheel bearing. It broke right out on him. So it was about midnight. He didn't get paid until 3 days later or something like that, and he was giving me a call. I was like, I'm not gonna make you wait 3 days. He was just gonna sit in his car till then. There was no other option. So I made the trip that night. It was about 3-hour drive, something like that, and went and did the wheel bearing right there on the rest stop in the highway. So, but usually I try to stay, within 30 minutes of Grand Rapids.
How often do you do highway jobs?
Not very often. If it's something quick and easy, I'll try to get it done for them, like a spare tire, but I try to stay away from roadside emergencies for the safety sides of it.
Can you say what one of your most expensive jobs was?
Well, just recently, I think it was close to the most expensive one. We did exhaust manifolds, and it actually cost more than the engine job on an F-150, a 6.2 liter, 2012, and it was quite the project, and ended up costing them $1,600. It ain't too shabby, $750 a piece, pretty much, with some parts, and it was still a great deal, I think, for him.
How much can you expect to make, like weekly or monthly, doing a mechanic business?
I'd say on a daily basis, my biggest day so far is $800. That's pure profit. It's easy to make $150, $100, which pays the bill, and then $200 is what I would make at a normal job, and that's what I make every single day doing this. My goal is to make $150,000 a year, which is a number I've never touched. I made $50,000 was my last job that I had, and I'm on course to make that this year, which is only $500 a day, working 300 days out of the year, which gives me every Sunday off. And it gives me 2 weeks vacation on top of about a week and a half extra days I can spread throughout the year. So I got it all mapped out. Right now I'm shooting for that 500 mark a day, and in order to make that a reality, I'm aiming for 1,000 a day. So if I aim for 1,000, picking up 500 a day is no big deal. Doing it all myself, personally, out there wrenching, is a lot of hard work, and something I've been blessed with is having a team that I'm able to send out in my spot and I'm able to make a portion of the money because of the work that I've put in to gain the customers. And I do a lot of the back end work with the parts and setting up the scheduling. And if I continue to do that, I'll be able to make the amount of money I want with less work than I'm currently putting in, which is a whole bunch of work. So
How many jobs are you trying to do a week, or how many do you do per day? What does that look like?
the last couple of months I've been booking myself 3 to 4 jobs a day, and then I had no time or energy to do anything else after that. So lately I've been trying to schedule myself 1 job a day, and then I'll always end up getting someone calling me that needs help that same day. So it'll turn into 2 or 3 jobs a day. But at least I schedule myself 1 job, and then that way I'm not scheduled for 3, and then I get 3 phone calls that day, and now I'm doing 6 jobs out till midnight with another 6 jobs to do tomorrow. Also, with gaining more guys, if I'm able to book them 2 to 3 jobs each, just having 2 guys that I got right now, my future is bright. I can see having 10 guys, you know, even with 2 jobs each, and it's gonna make everyone money, so.
Do you have any other plans on expanding in the future?
It's unlimited, so there's no competition. Everyone's to learn from, right? I wanna be able to get an app. If I could have my own app with the location that I'm at and have people, you know, be able to work around that, that would be a goal of mine. But also just to have the business grow big enough to where there's enough mechanics to be on call for somebody that needs help same day. Because as of right now, I just can't help everybody every single day, you know? But I want to be able to.
What's one of the longest projects that you've had, and what's one of the shortest?
It's hard. A lot of them are long, and a lot of them are short. Some of them, I'll go there and they'll think they need a starter, and then I'll test their battery, and that's all it is they just need a battery. So it's like 15 minutes, I'm in and out. But the long ones are just things that parts are wrong. I have to go back and forth to the store. Try not to make anything go overnight, so nothing's really too long. Besides if I bring projects home with me, which I don't do anymore because I got in trouble for that. So definitely pros of being mobile is a lot more freedom. You don't got anybody looking at what you're doing besides the customer, which that might be a con. You definitely run into some customers who want to look over your shoulder the entire time you're there and talk to you. But I try to talk to them and be cool as I can and even interested in what they're saying a lot of times. But it can get to me because if it's something I'm not familiar with, I really need my concentration in order to fix their car. So, but the pros definitely outweigh that because I'm able to, I said it the other day on my post, is go wherever I want for lunch, you know. You can't do that at a shop. And then I'm able to wear whatever I want, which is awesome. If it's over 80, I'm in flip-flops and shorts. But yeah, and then, you know, I'll stop at the gas station whenever you want or whatever, you know. There's a lot of pros to the mobile versus being in a shop. But then you got your cons too. I could say you got to have your stuff way more organized than being in the shop. You got to have everything with you. You got to have a vehicle that can carry everything. So
what's the most expensive car that you've worked on?
I can't remember what year it was, but I've worked on a couple different Porsches, twin turbo, top of the line. I'm doing brakes on them, headlights, air filters, oil changes. You know, these Porsche guys are smart. They hit me up. They know they're gonna get charged $1 million at the dealership. They hit me up. I do it for probably 1/10 of the cost, you know, and I do a great job every time, so.
Do you have 3 tips of advice for other entrepreneurs?
Number 1 is to quit your job. Yeah, I would have never expected it. I'm guilty, I got fired, or else I would have never started this full time, but I was doing it part-time for 5 years after work, and then so I just decided to go with it, and so that'd be, you know, the other part of that, just do it. Just do it. Don't be afraid to fail. The more times you fail, the better you're going to become. If it's something that's in your head, it's always going to be there. Just put it on paper for one and then make it a reality. And then that just go right into the next tip is goal setting. My goals, funny enough, I put them on my resume for job applications. I mean, I thought that was something that was big, that would stand out. And they also were something I never thought I would achieve, but it's because they were on paper and they were in reality, and it was something I was striving for. I accomplished every single one of my goals, which was to become a master mechanic, to buy a house, and to own my own business. And lo and behold, I guess a third good little tip is just to, the one nobody wants to hear is to be patient. You can't do everything overnight. As much as I try, you can't.
Can you say where they can find you on social?
You can find me on Facebook under Matt's Mechanics, Matt's Mobile Mechanics. You can search on Google, Matt's Mechanics, Matt's Mobile Mechanics, and I'll be the first one to pop up. And then I also have a website, mattsmechanicsmichigan.com.